Blog Talk Radio.
Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroads where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future. Shedding Dogma, the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, not exactly remarkable, ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Well, hello, everyone. My name's Mark Angelo Cummings, your host.
And I'm Lena Lopez, your hostess.
We're broadcasting live from the beautiful land of enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico.
And it's raining again.
I know. I don't know what's up with this rain. They're blaming it on El Nino or something of that nature.
Yeah.
I think our weather is being tainted with it.
Well, we just got a new car last week, and the trunk, what's going on with it?
Oh, my God. It's determined to kill me.
Jeez, it's like the third time.
I know. It's like it just comes down with the strength. It's almost like the hydraulic system of it is not working right.
Backwards or something.
Yeah, and it's just like, boom, closer. So I'm like, if we ever get my finger caught there, but it's been my head.
I mean, you were reaching down to get a watermelon.
Melon that was all the way back, and the thing just came. It's like I got this knot in my head, and
I thought you were going to be knocked out.
I felt like it. I saw stars and the moons, but I see the stars and the moons with you all the time.
Hey,
nothing new.
I do too with you. So.
It's But hey, guys, before we start the broadcast, we need to thank some people.
That's right. I wanted to thank you. Oh wait, I wanted to thank the sponsor at thebreastformstore.com because they have just about everything you can imagine to enhance your feminizing needs.
As well as SPUNK Lube, which is an award-winning personal lubricant that's glycerin-free, 100% sex toy safe, and it is very much fun to use. Just remember to cap it when you're using it because it gets all over the place. And, passion sometimes gets you to...
Well, I mean, okay, so we're in bed and you're like... Baby, hold on a second, and you're like, reach it over.
Trying to put the bottle.
Just put it wherever.
And then put it, and I left it open, and the next morning I'm like, what happened to all our SPUNK?
Did it slide or something? We had already talked about it.
Yeah, we did, but it's just, hey, it's part of,
Yeah.
Maybe he'll send us some more samples. I know. Anyway, you guys could click the code TR, or enter the code TR, and you're going to receive a 10% discount, and you need to go where?
www.spunklube.com.
Check them out. Love. What an amazing...
Exciting and new. Come aboard. Wait.
Yeah.
It's an old show. That'll date us a bit.
Or the Love
Boat.
Love Boat. Yes.
I like that show,
yes.
actually.
What do I used to like to watch? The plane.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fantasy Island.
Ricardo
Montalban.
Yes. They don't make shows like they used to.
No. Now it's like a bunch of, reality shows.
Everything's wild.
That are really scripted.
Yes. Yeah, that way they don't have to pay the actors.
Right.
And just barely pay pittance to people who become success overnight and regular Joe Schmo, stuff like that. But hey, that's life. Anyway, speaking about love.
That's right.
Love's an amazing thing.
It is. We share a very, very special love.
And I can't even begin to explain the way that I feel in my heart. I've never, ever experienced something this strong, this pure, selfless, beyond words.
Well, I never imagined, that love could feel this way, and it's something that is unique, and it's something that you would it happened when we least expected it. I mean, you were just getting over your ex-girlfriend and stuff and dealing with the winter and the cold that you were experiencing here.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
And I was in the middle of contemplating where and what I was going to do with my life, and I don't know, you saw me, or no?
Actually, Cupid played a role there.
That's
yeah,
right.
Cupid from California. Yeah, from California. Yeah. Kept bugging me about, you've got to check out this trans girl. I'm like, look, that's the last thing in the world I want to do right now, is check out any trans girl.
We're all crazy.
Yeah, and the experience I had with my last trans girlfriend will forever leave a sour taste in my mouth, but I was
bump
on my head. But, hey, I'm glad took the chance.
I'm glad the universe put us together, because if it wasn't for that, we would never have met,
Exactly.
But it happens when you least expect it.
Exactly. And that's part of what this article is about.
Well, that's what, if you're on Match.com, Christian Mingle, Gluten-Free Signals, seeking out a suitable partner, a person that will be able to finish your sentences, you might find someone there. Who knows, right? But you might not. So, it's just one of those things.
And I don't think that I've never actually ever used any of those .com services to find love. I usually get people from Facebook, reaching out to me, or things of that nature. But that to me just seems so artificial.
Well,
looking for love.
It can be. But, if, as a trans woman, I wanted to be able to find somebody, and
the midget you found.
Well, yeah, but I did find somebody there, and it's one of those things where you just do it, because.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I mean, if you feel that you can't find love in the grocery store, at the gym, which I've found before, at the gym, my ex-wife Violet and I met at the gym. That would probably be the best way to actually try to at least meet someone. I don't know about.
I was running a lot, so where was I going to find somebody?
Maybe
outside running around?
Maybe. You never know when it's. Look, hey, we found each other without even, it's like.
We found each other on Facebook.
We did.
Yeah. So, and on YouTube. Right?
And on YouTube.
You were surfing all my videos.
Yes, I was.
Checking me out. You were doing a psychological analysis.
Yes, I do that, because I was for sure did not want to fall into another. Oh God, no! But yeah. Anyway, so even from its birth, and actually before that, love is not something that fits a template. Oh no! In today's world, it can pop up like a zip.
Oh,
yeah, I just visualize that too. Or you can seek it out like Diet Cherry Pepsi in the grocery store. I've never really been. I don't like Diet Pepsi and cherry much less. It cannot be tamed. It cannot be predicted. It will continue on its way, slipping you up like an invisible wet spot on the floor. This writer is really,
He just has not got my imagination.
No, I just have a zit with a Pepsi cherry and a spot on the floor that God knows where it came from.
Love demands attention, demands to be acknowledged regardless of circumstance. Whether you want it to or not, it can take you over. That's the only thing to be said about it. Really, everything else about love is case-specific. Each and every love takes on its own shapes, forms its own habits. There is no algorithm for it.
I do want to add, though, I've quoted in the past that I've found my soulmate, which I thought at one point that my ex was. And I've read that you could have many soulmates, but you could really only have one twin soul. And your twin soul that would be.
Oh.
I am for certain.
We're both cross-eyed.
Yeah, we're both cross-eyed, which was like, wow, look at that. Somebody.
We're both trans.
We're both trans. We both play instruments and write music.
Wait, I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed. I'm right. Well, that would make sense because
yeah,
exactly. We're twins, so you gotta, in the bedroom, we're both
Hey, TMI.
Well, but it's true. It's fun. This is not rated PG or anything. We're R-rated, though.
Right.
And we're Spanish, we're both bilingual.
But what are the chances of Puerto Rican and a Cuban would get along?
A rivalry, I know.
Yeah.
So we broke in that mold there.
Yeah.
And we both are into nutrition, and we both are into working out.
Yeah, but you hurt your foot.
I hurt my foot. I know.
I feel so bad, too, because, And then you bumped your head.
And then I bumped my head. I think
so,
it's...
you're injured from head to toe.
Literally. Literally. That'll be all right. So, my turn here.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, the steadfast unions, the ones that stay together from initial kiss to the sharing of vows, those partnerships are no better than the on again, off again. They're simply different.
It's tempting to log on to social media and compare your relationship to those of others. Everyone's done that, right?
Of course.
It's easy to envy the couples with the cute pictures.
I'm sure.
Those who boast about their love openly and often. Oh wait, that's like
yeah, that's what we've been doing, right?
The adventurous. We're not so adventurous right
now.
Not
right now, because
later we will be.
Now we're both healing because I got a bad foot.
I know, right? I got a bad.
We had to be twins that way too.
The beautiful, the long term. These couples frequently feel doubt in our own relationships, but we shouldn't be comparing. We can't.
Comparing others' relationship to your own is like comparing, here we go, a salad to a manicure. They're supposed to be different.
Yeah.
They're comprised of two unique pieces, two individuals creating a greater unique whole. I know that I tend to, not compare you, but I tend to worry every time you do something and that reminds me of something that my other trans girlfriend did, and right away I start to freak out, like, oh my God, no, and it's something I shouldn't do because...
It's like PTSD.
Yeah, post-traumatic transgender syndrome. But
that's the word. Post-traumatic transgender
syndrome.
Okay.
But
PTSD.
I shouldn't do that, and as I've stopped doing that more, it really helps for me to bring my guard down more, trust more, love you more, and not worry that,
I'm the stereotype of everything else that you've been through.
Exactly. And it's traumatic, even though I'm supposed to be the bad guy, but anyway.
I mean, we're not going to say that we haven't had our moments of, growth and stuff like that, but we're learning each other. We're learning to respect and honor each other's differences. I found out that I'm a little bit more Asperger-ish. Asperger-ish is that a word?
Yes, Asperger-ish.
Yeah.
It makes us twin some more because,
right.
It's like, wait a minute, okay, so learn to have compassion.
I have to make sure that that the bed is completely combed one way.
Yes.
The comforter.
Yes.
And you have to make sure that the bed is made every morning.
So we complement each other that way.
But I do like my rolling forward, right?
Yes.
And you like that too.
Yes.
That's perfect.
I know. But it's a beautiful thing, really. Society tries to convince us that love should be carried out in a certain way. There's a correct form and 1,000,001 incorrect ones. On the right path, we date, get engaged, get married, have children, and eventually embrace our roles as grandparents. Society also thinks we should be dangerously thin and work out 40 hours each week so we can roll that out as a dependable source. We don't need to fit that template. We don't need to follow that path. Well, we can. It doesn't matter. The point is that it is our choice, no one else's. Don't try to shove your special individual relationship into a stiffling mold.
There's no formula for it. Embrace each and every unique aspect your love sets before you, for those are the components that make it so great. Surprises, overcoming setbacks, overcoming falls off a cliff.
Yes, that was slightly a setback there.
Appreciating particular quirks.
Yes, like Asperger's and our certain little things.
Refrain from comparing your bond to others. Everyone's love is unique and special.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
It's one of those things where, comparing stuff is so easy to do. And the fact is that everyone, like it said, everyone is unique.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Everyone's story, everyone's narrative is different.
And we harm ourselves when we compare. We bring old memories into the now because it's almost like we are predisposing ourselves for failure because if you keep comparing your ex-lover, your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend to your present, then you're going to almost create that scenario. It's going to take life of its own. And I know
to bring it back to life. It's like what was already dead and gone in the past, you kind of
rehashed it.
Yeah, you just revive it.
Yeah, I mean, we need to leave the past in the past, and live in the now because basically that's all we really have.
And that's how I wake up now every morning. I think, Mark is my now, Mark is my future, everything else is in the past, and everything else serves me no purpose other than to cause me pain.
Exactly. And what's the use of being in pain when you could avoid that pain and by just living in the now and not letting your past blend into your present?
But that's another topic that we can get into.
Oh, definitely. 56 years of marriage. That is a long time. Well, that'll make me what?
112, and I'll be 108.
That'll be awesome.
So, like Abraham and Sarah, they had kids, after he was 100.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to do that.
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to enjoy our life, travel.
I don't know, if we don't have a kid, maybe our kid can carry our stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But this article is incredibly
inspiring.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's just one of those articles that makes you go, oh, that's so sweet. Yes. Well, if you've ever been in love, which we have in art, you know exactly what it feels like, and it's different for each relationship in your life. What you feel for your mom, your bestie, your partner isn't quite the same. But if you had to explain those feelings without using the word LOVE to describe it, could you? It's harder than you might think.
It's hard to describe that feeling without using that word. And a lot of people don't even really know what the word really means or what love actually means. But that's exactly what Hallmark asks couples of all ages, races, and sexual orientations to do for its Put Your Heart to Paper campaign. A bunch of videos were released as part of the project, but our favorite is the one of Bob and Kim. They've been married for 56 years, and their love is just so palpable. So grab some tissues and maybe a notebook. You want to take notes, and then
listen to what they had to say. This is darling.
Okay, no problem.
My first impression was, I think I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
She's a nice-looking girl, but I think she's going to be hard to get along with.
3 days later, he told me he was going to marry me.
I remember saying to her, well, you're going to have to marry me.
I told him he was nuts, but he was right. That was 56 years ago.
That's a long time. There's a lot of water under that bridge.
So, how would you describe your feelings without using the word love?
Without using the word love? Well, they say the two become one. We've really done that, and that just says it all.
He's part of me. He really is part of me. I can't imagine myself without him, which is scary, but real.
She is everything.
I can tell that he loves me because I can see it in his eyes, and I can tell in the way we talk to each other, the way we relate to each other.
What do you see in his eyes when you look at each other?
I see me in his eyes.
Feelings color everything, and if you don't disclose those things, you're wearing a mask.
I'm grateful for what you do, and I'm grateful for who you are.
When all is said and done, and all the music is gone, and the noise is gone, and the conversations are gone, there's still that bond between us, and that's the best way I can describe it.
That is definitely a tearjerker. Every time I hear it, I get teary-eyed, and I feel the same way about you. I see me in your eyes. You're my twin. You're my life, my soul.
Well, when we look at each other's eyes, it's can't help but burst into like a tear, because it's just that strong,
I nursed you back to health, and you were just like, I can't even put it in words. Became my everything, my every moment. I forgot about me. I got so lost in you that now we're just inseparable.
You didn't see my beautiful face when you first came in?
I was kind of expecting.
You saw pictures from before.
And I'm like, am I in the right room? Was this the girl that's supposed to come see me?
Right.
No. No, but you were pretty banged up.
Yeah, I was. I was almost dead.
Yeah, you were.
So,
but you know what? I knew that I would nurse you back to health. And
2 months later, here we are.
Here we are. And I am forever grateful.
As am I.
So, weren't they adorable? I mean, these two are very much on the same page when it comes to their relationships. So it's not hard to see that they're perfect for each other, as you and I are. Bob says they say two become one, and that really has happened. I think that's happened to us too.
It has, and Kim said that what she sees is him inside of her. That's what, I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, that we want to be like them when we grow up.
Yeah. Exactly.
The way they feel about each other after 56 years of marriage. When you're 112 and I'm 108, all those inevitable ups and downs that come with a lengthy love story is so inspiring. It's just incredible to see that type of love expressed. And when you guys see it on YouTube, on the video that was on YouTube, it's just so incredibly sweet and adorable. They do a bunch more, that, right?
Yeah.
But this one was just, it just really, really touches your heart.
Definitely. And it's very inspiring. So, inspiring.
Inspiring, yeah.
Now we're going to talk about a little bit of the religious or spiritual, actually, part of our segment. And
moving on. Moving on from
well, love and spirituality are one and the same.
Are you talking about Kundalini?
Kundalini, and also just, I believe that our Creator, him and her, is all about love.
Absolutely. And this article really spoke to me personally because I've dealt with this whole shedding the dogma of my upbringing and stuff. And the article is very insightful, and it's going to really raise a lot of eyebrows, and make you think, because we live in this really powerful secular culture where we're influenced by the methods and findings of science, by a widespread reliance on technology, and by ubiquitous, seductive commercial enticements. There is, in consequence, considerable risk of people rejecting the religion of their parents' and grandparents' culture, never to reconsider deeply this vital aspect of their lives.
I was raised Jehovah's Witness.
I was raised Assembly of God. So, I was raised in a very, very legalistic and Pharisaic kind of an upbringing. And, there's so many kids that ended up probably graduating and leaving, after they left their schools and stuff like that, went to church. They never went back to church again after they got into college because what they rejected was the religion of their parents. They never made it their own.
Exactly. It's all dogma that's been programmed, and a lot of people nowadays, their thoughts are not even their own.
They're just a program of what people have programmed into them.
Yeah, and if they really broke down what they're believing and really took a deep look, they would realize that it's not even their own.
I was part of a class when I went to Bible college. It was called Personal Evangelism. And, the reason I flunked that class is because I couldn't come up with my own personal, tract. How they used to hand out these tracts to get people to get saved or whatever. Mm-hmm. They would hand them out, or they'd leave them in a bathroom or wherever. And it's like they'd scare the bejesus out of people into wanting to, give their lives and stuff. And they wanted me to basically, go and write this tract about my life, and I couldn't because I didn't have this big story about being a drug addict turned around and all this stuff. And the fact was that, they wanted me to be something that I wasn't.
And that's how they lure in their people, the people that hit rock bottom, and then it's like, you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Your heart is wicked, and you've got to change your ways.
Right.
And it's just there's absolutely nothing about compassion, love in the message.
Yeah, there's really a very condemning, denigrating type of action that they want people to notice is that, they they have lack, so they need this.
Yeah, exactly.
They're broken, so they need that.
They need to be fixed.
And the fact is that we as human beings are more put together than we think.
Exactly.
We are.
Your young children all exhibit some degree of spiritual awareness, which usually fades towards the teen years. Some people even come to define their religious identity in negative terms. I am not religious, which I constantly say, or I do not believe in God. I do believe in God, just not the God that has been created by religion. Only if this is adopted narrowly and as a final position, though, need it be considered a serious problem, not yet representing true independence of thinking and behavior. It could be the positive start of something, an honest move forward in terms of spiritual development.
It is natural that where some people prize conformity and belonging, others prefer independence, thinking, acting, and taking responsibility for themselves. It is a mistake when churches and religious leaders fail to understand this. Many people have doubts about and leave their parent religion for the best reasons in search for a wider, bigger, grander truth than they have encountered so far. The big mistakes of religious institutions, of some religious leaders and followers, then include
being too rigid, exercising exclusivity, and claiming superiority over others, which is very, very trivial, or very, not trivial, that's what I'm looking for, very prominent.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back in the 70s, since we were, still kids back then or whatever, there was this guy named Jim Jones, and he took people to this place in Guyana to become their, become over to be their leader, and they ended up all drinking Kool-Aid and they died. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
It was, and they claim superiority, and they're too rigid, and they exercise exclusivity.
Yeah.
This just gets really, really weird.
It really does.
These errors are particularly counterproductive in terms of genuine, lasting appeal when claims are backed by threats of a God more harsh and vengeful than loving and merciful. Many are critical, accordingly, that churches fail to hold on to the devotion of people, young or old, who see through some of the apparent inconsistencies of Christianity, who cannot square miracles with science, who find in an expanded form of Darwin's evolutionary theory sufficient explanation for altruism and moral psychology, who reject the need for a creator or any so-called spiritual, supernatural phenomena, and who argue that a multiplicity of religions and divisions within those religions indicate the implausibility of each.
There may be another neglected group, too, though. Those who have never felt sufficiently loved or valued to believe that anyone would sacrifice a life for them, as Christians' teachings say of Jesus, much less to do so through the shaming process of public arrest and trial, and the exquisitely painful and humiliating process of torture and crucifixion. This congregation, aimless and among the neediest for God's love and human compassion, requires particularly wise and tender attention.
Christian churches and other religious organizations are bountiful treasure houses of living spiritual history, wisdom, traditions, and beliefs, saintly examples, sacramental practices, sacred music, and prayers. As such, they are perfectly sufficient for the full and proper education of Christians from baptism onward. They perform a valuable service, however. Christian writer Richard Rohr says in Falling Upward that the institutions of Christianity are almost entirely configured to encourage, support, reward, and validate the tasks of the first half of life.
These tasks, including establishing an identity, a home, livelihood, relationship, friends, community, and security, are not sufficient in themselves, but they can result in a firm base for further spiritual exploration and development. Clearly, though, in Rohr's eyes, there remains an enormous omission. Churches do not do enough to promote spiritual inquiry and development. They do not provide the leadership, rationale, role models, environment, encouragement, or means for life's more holistic second half.
Whoa, that sounds like the trans community.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to get into the trans issue, but there's so many people that think that they hold sway in this community, and they think that they can silence the voice of others, which we'll be talking about later on Monday.
On Monday, definitely.
Well, back to this article. Holding to a worldly comfort zone in the first half of life's holy pilgrimage, people naturally seek stability and security. We seek certainty, and are thus strongly inclined to use reason, the rational logic of dualist, either/or, left-brain thinking to achieve and maintain that, seeking to avoid uncomfortable feelings of anxiety, bewilderment, and doubt. We hold all the more tightly to our opinions, beliefs, and convictions, and ally ourselves strenuously with those of similar views. Equally, we oppose and reject those who appear markedly different, and us/them attitude and corresponding practice develops. This underpins the big mistakes and tragedies of every religion, not only Christianity.
Whenever attachment is to the tenets and practices, the cherished beliefs and ritual of the religion becomes rigid and inflexible, and where claims of superiority are made, the preconditions of division and conflicts are met. Dualist, either or right-wrong thinking is by nature exclusive. Rival partisan groups inevitably come into being. Competition based on differences predominates over cooperations based upon what is shared.
The time is therefore past for any group to claim privileged knowledge or exclusive access to the divine. This, however, is a real challenge for people who remain spiritually mature, holding to a rigid, incomplete version of Christianity or any other religion. Inflexibility does give a person a comforting sense of the safety of being prized and protected not only through life but afterlife, forwards into eternity. This is a lot for the self-protective ego to give up, but it must if the whole person is to develop, because the picture is one-sided, incomplete, and therefore false.
And this holds a lot of truth here about the inflexibility and how people can't grow spiritually because they are sticking to what they've been taught, to what a book that clearly thinks of women as nothing, you know.
Oh gosh, remember I read you a bunch of these parts in the scripture where it
allows slavery, tells you to stone your wife and this, that, and the other. I mean, there is just so much vile things in this Bible. And there's so much inconsistencies.
Yeah, there really is. And it's one of those things where it's been so cemented into my life that I have to, like, basically jackhammer it out and try to rebuild a foundation that's built not on guilt and condemnation, but on love and understanding and compassion. You know, because if we don't have love, like the Bible would say, it says we have nothing.
Yeah, definitely. The task is to move on into a much safer and more mature spiritual comfort zone during life's second half. And that's the key, a more mature, because the other is very fairy tale, very dogmatic, very structured. This means adopting and preferences that more creative and imaginative approach, using unitary, both, and right brain thinking and experience. Accordingly, as the true spiritual self gains ascendance over the worldly, everyday ego, spiritual values increasingly take hold. Values like humility, honesty, trust, kindness, tolerance, patience, perseverance, discernment, courage, compassion, wisdom, beauty, and hope.
That's a wonderful characteristics to have as a human being, to be humble, honest, and trust. I mean, who wouldn't want that, you know? Atheist ideologies often suffer from the same problems of rigidity, exclusivity, and false claims of superiority. It is important to note, however, that atheist humanitarian values and spiritual values are similar and universal. This does not mean worldly values are intrinsically worthless or bad. The idea of self-improvement with the aim of achieving worldly success, including fame and financial success, is praiseworthy in many instances. However, problems arise for the individual and for society when selfish, material, and commercial values overtake spiritual and humanitarian values. This is the big mistake of secularism. In the reverse situation, with mature spiritual values predominating, everything tends to happen more smoothly, less destructively, and for everyone's benefit.
And, you know, people go to church, you know, they sin all through the week, they go, it becomes this social outing. They end up having all this money, you know, because I don't want to stereotype, but, you know, there's a lot of money in that industry.
Oh, yeah.
And, they take your 10% and they do this and the other, and it's become a huge business.
Oh, for sure.
And, are they thinking about what humanity really needs,
I really don't think so. I mean, I think that Gandhi was right, when he said that, I love your Jesus, but I really don't like
your people.
Jesus followers.
Exactly. And look at what he did. He got rid of everything.
Yeah, he did. He lived a very selfless life.
And that's what Jesus did. Jesus did not own, all sorts of stuff. He was very humble.
Right.
But,
I mean, you see these mansions of these great big televangelists that they own are like $10 million, and they have all the cars.
And you know all about this because you work for these people. You saw it firsthand.
Oh, yeah. It was very evident. I mean, the haves had.
Yeah.
And the have-nots didn't. Exactly. And they were taking money from the have-nots.
Congregations, exactly. And that is what it's all about.
I mean, telling people to give their trust funds, their monies.
Yeah. It's vile.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, as each person's unique journey through life unfolds, there comes a time to discover and develop ourselves as independent and responsible observer, participants in our own life story, people with choices to consider and make. This usually means a comprehensive reappraisal of our assumption and values and the relinquishing of former attachments of loyalties while coping with and adjusting to the resulting uncertainty and relative isolation.
Problems continue as long as worldly ambitions and values hold sway. This is the hardest stretch to negotiate, pulled and pushed in two directions at once. That's kind of like what I've been going through with my, accident and just, how I have to cope with things. The wise seek help from like-minded friends and spiritual guides, from religious scriptures, and from the discipline of regular spiritual practices and undertakings. In this way, progress is assured. As the pendulum swings towards maturity and as spiritual awareness is rekindled and glowing into a glowing inner fire, we grow ready at last for the great spiritual homecoming. This wonderfully heartwarming eventuality is what both the first and second half, the whole of life, is genuinely all about.
One could always tell who's a spiritual person and who's a religious person. The dogma of the religious person, the inability to accept anything else but what that Bible says. They can't sway from what they've been told. They have no own thought process. You get a spiritual person. Just look at the raw vegan lifestyle, the people in that raw vegan lifestyle.
I'm impressed. They talk about it in such a spiritual way. Food is spiritual for them, and they have such a connection to their environment, to society, to
the planet,
people, to the planet.
The animals. I mean, and it's you see a lot of Christians, they're hunters and they own guns and they think the world's meant for them for the taking.
Yeah.
And they don't respect anybody. And
pushing legislation to make sure that people don't get their
rights. I mean, it's what's more spiritual and loving? Part A, Part B.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and they're losing hold on people.
Well, I mean, they are losing ground. I mean, churches worldwide, especially in the United States, are declining in numbers precipitously every year. People are just fed up.
They're fed up with the lies. They're just not believing it anymore,
right.
And with good reasons.
And we're going to have in future, broadcasts, some more eye-opening information about, specifically about Christianity, and about what lies have been held, in their hands to keep the truth away from us.
Yes. And also we're going to be talking a lot about transgender individuals, and this is not a materialistic journey, but a spiritual journey, and there's a lot of talk in ancient books regarding us, and I feel the transgender community has just totally are batting left field. They don't even know why they are the way they are. It's not about going from box A to box B. It's not about going from male to female and having big breasts and long nails and going out to bars and dancing and drinking and picking up tranny chasers, and there's more to it.
That's all MTF stuff that you're talking about.
Exactly.
And the majority of the ones making all the loud noises are the MTFs. So, and we don't mean to bring up all the topics about transgender stuff, but we are a trans couple.
Yes.
This is a show that's not trans, but we will occasionally delve into these things.
Yes.
It's part of us.
Exactly. Well, it is Friday. We want to wish you guys a happy and healthy and fun weekend.
Oh, happy spring.
Happy spring, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's still cold here and it's raining.
Raining.
I know, we're hearing it on the top of the RV roof. Tick, tick, tick.
You guys might be too.
Yeah, I know, maybe, yeah. And Monday, we're hoping to have Zoe on the show, see how her schedule is, to talk about the witch hunt that she has had to endure, which I know too well, so I could empathize completely with her.
She was hired as a correspondent for Inside Edition as their first transgender reporter.
Yeah, and people are just trying to get her fired. They don't agree with what she's saying. The people, we really have to analyze what she's saying, and we can't wear our feelings in our sleeves and automatically just say, no, she's wrong. Because she's not wrong. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, and there's many different ways to skin a cat. Okay, so,
absolutely right.
As a community, I am ashamed. There's so many immature people. You can't even have a conversation without them attacking, name-calling.
But it's not just people, it's whole organizations like GLAAD.
Oh, yeah, GLAAD is one of those, like, wow. It's all politically corrupt.
You want to muzzle people and keep them from being able to speak the truth.
Yes, because, everything's got to be swept under the rug. They don't want truth out. And, unfortunately, truth is truth, and you can't hide it. And sorry that people feel that, their fantasy has to be the only way. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to the story than people can actually expect to think. Yeah, so we'll be talking about it on Monday. Hopefully we'll be able to have Zoe as a guest, and like to have her give her 2 cents. And I really feel bad for her, Well, because we've been personally attacked. Oh, I know too well. NRB. Yes. Someone just called you dense. Yeah, dense, idiot. Because, I wouldn't see things. Them in a very kind manner. Yeah, because I wouldn't see things her way, and, but that's what they do. They're abusive, they're loud, but they're women, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend. If you can't live your truth, or leave your truth, whatever you want, then it's just not worth leaving. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, living, right? All right, good night, folks. Have a good one. We love you.